Okay, so you had a chance to look at those slides now, and hopefully that discussion that we had as we go through our risk assessment procedures, understanding our inherent risk, our control risk, our detection risk, seeing how that then would be applied to determine the timing, extent, and nature of our substantive procedures. Just looking at some of the steps that we do to obtain an understanding of the control, and then how that parlays into our assessment of the risk of material misstatement due to fraud. Looking at those fraud risk factors, and we saw that those fraud risk factors were pretty important for us to understand that when we identify those, we're going to have to respond through altering the timing, extent, and nature of our substantive procedures. If we're seeing the fraud risk factors, or frankly our risk of material misstatement increasing regardless of fraud, we're going to respond by what? By nature of the procedure, more effective procedure, for example, using what? External evidence instead of internal evidence, extent, larger sample sizes for our substantive testing, and then timing, doing the year-end testing as opposed to the interim. If our risk of material misstatement is coming down, then our detection risk can go up a little bit. How? Nature, extent, timing of our substantive procedure. Nature, we can now use internal evidence instead of external. Extent, smaller sample sizes. Timing, now maybe using some interim testing instead of year-end, although we'd always need to do a little roll forward at the end of the year to make sure things haven't changed significantly from the interim date of our testing. Now we're going to turn to Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is going to get into the actual detail as to how we would begin our testing phase and start to actually literally start to test some of these internal controls as we go forward. So remember again, one more time, midterm is coming up, and so you really need to get into that homework for Chapter 4. And then we'll get into the slides and talk a little bit about the homework and quizzes for chapter 5, and then it's midterm time. Okay, guys, keep working hard, and we'll talk soon.